right. So let's maybe just pick up the energy a little bit. I want to see everyone throw your right hand up and do a little like as if you were throwing a graduation cap. Just woo. All right. Let's also throw that left hand up. Woo. All right. Now let's wave our hands in the air and wave them like we just don't care. All right. All right. So I'm going to jump into a little bit about gamification. I like to play and have fun outside of doing product in my day job. I teach improv just for fun. I can't even call it my night job. But I like to use ways to incorporate games and activities as a way of getting deeper with customer centricity and really helping us understand our customers. Let's see if I can get the clicker to work. Why should we use gamification for customer centricity? Play turns on the parts of our brains that help us connect to people and make money. Ultimately, when we're using play, our brains are wired to go deeper and deeper into those sensory aspects around empathy, around connection, and innovation. And so this is really a way for us to unlock kind of like that uncharted territory of our brain when we're using play as a way to tap into what our customer is experiencing. So I'm going to just go into a couple of the techniques before we actually test out a couple of the games. For one, when it comes to using games, you could use a number of ways to really tap into your customers. I'd say first that you can really capture the emotional palette of what your customer is going through. What are the pains? What does it really feel like when they're experiencing your product? What's the sense of relief that they're getting? Ultimately, you can also look at clarifying the relationship that they're having with your product, with other users or even with other stakeholders. Like, for example, some of the topics that came up yesterday between the user and the buyer. We can use games to better understand that relationship, which will ultimately help us better when it comes to selling. And then when you find the motives, again, we can use this to better understand the persona of our customers so that we can ultimately understand new ways that we can create and market our products towards them. Lastly, for listening, when we use games, again, we're tapping into that empathy part of our brain. It's going to really deepen our ability to hear what our customers are saying, pick up insights that wouldn't have come if we were reading a report or just asking UX, hey, what do you think? This allows us to get a little bit deeper. So I'm going to go through some of the fundamentals of a game. This is like super basic, but it will frame out some of the things that we're going to play with today. So first, games have players. So if you are going to be using games for customer centricity with your team, you want to really dedicate a space for it. They need to know they're playing a game. As an example, if I just start throwing things at you now, you could charge me for assault. But if you said, hey, let's play dodgeball, it actually opens up the scene for people to be engaged on both sides of it. Second, games have an objective. So you want to think about the goal of the game, like, for example, tag, the goal of the game is to tag somebody, but you also want to think about what is the objective related to customer centricity as well. Third, every game has rules or roles. And that's ultimately what makes games fun and stimulating. So you can tweak the rules or the roles of the game to make this more challenging for your team, to make it more inclusive of people who are perhaps maybe new to your users or new to the product. You can make this more inclusive of, you can tweak the roles to make this more inclusive of doing this virtually versus in person. And lastly, a game is supposed to be fun. I know a lot of times when people talk about gamification, the first thing that comes to mind is leaderboards. And I mean, leaderboards for like changing diapers, that's not a fun game. Ultimately, you want to tweak the games that you're developing for what is fun for your users. So as I go through a couple of the games that we're going to do right now, I'll talk through some of the tweaks that you can make so that you can basically align this to your audience. So the first game that we're going to play, I'd love to have two people. Actually, I'm going to go back a slide. Can I have two people come up? This will be super quick. It'll take about 3 minutes, and I won't embarrass you. Or maybe I could pick somebody, but yes, Omi, yes. And Mark, come on up. Thanks, guys. So, Mark, I'm going to have you as person 1.
All right.
And Omi, I'll have you as person 2. So the first part is, Mark, just describe your product and describe the problem that you're solving for your target user. Just like
About like our product, Cloud Permit?
Yeah.
So we're a GovTech software that that enables not only the municipal user, but also the end user, which is our citizens. I don't normally have to get a microphone. I'm normally loud enough. All right. You guys hear me all right? Is that good? Is that better?
Yes.
That's better. Yeah, there we go. Should I restart or what?
Oh, that's
Are
good.
we good? Okay, yeah. So the big problem that that our product actually solves. There's a lot of GovTech. It's similar to blockchain in the Wild West in the GovTech space. But one of the things that a lot of our competitors have is they have kind of a client server, and then they have a portal that they created. And what we kind of solved is we have one solution for both our authority or the municipal user as well as their customer, which is the citizens, and giving an experience that's not only efficient and effective for them on that side, on the citizen side, but also efficient and effective on the municipal side.
Okay, and then what is your customer doing before using your product, during you using your product, and afterwards? And just like super short.
What do you mean before?
Like before they're
they
using,
get the product?
Yeah.
All right. Our customers are in the middle of nowhere because they're rural customers, and they don't use technology at all. And so we give them technology, and they're like, oh, wow, I don't have to do this on paper anymore.
Awesome.
Quick?
Yeah, that's
There you
great.
go.
All right, so you've heard this story, Omi, right?
I have, yes.
All right, now I want you to repeat this story.
Okay.
And Omi, what you're gonna do is you're gonna act this out in a Charlie Chaplin style mime. So basically, you don't have to say anything. This is primarily using like your facial expressions, because one thing mimes do is they kind of accentuate or like exaggerate. So I want you to focus on the part of the story where you're saying before the customer is using your product, during using your product, and then after. And go kind of slow so he has time to react, okay?
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Our company services small municipalities.
Actually,
right?
let me just pause you.
What was I saying?
So start
Oh,
for
the
this.
beginning, sorry.
Yeah, before the customer is using your product, what's happening with them?
Oh, boy,
And then-
municipalities.
Our customer is sitting in an office using a clipboard and a piece of paper and a pencil. And they are reviewing applications that a citizen has came in with a piece of paper and a pencil and a pen and filled out and provided a check.
All right, and then what happens during using your?
So instead of the citizen having to go into the municipal building, they can sit on their couch in their underwear and apply for a permit. I did that purposely, obviously. Once they apply for the permit, then it goes to the municipal user, who then takes it, processes it, and approves it or denies it.
Awesome. And all right, round of applause for everyone. So, Omi, how was it for you trying to accentuate what the emotions of the experience of the user was?
That was harder than I thought. I mean, I was more so trying to enact like what the actions were, but I don't think the emotions came through.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. I'd say one thing is you can work on doing like example for this. You could do the same story, but like not doing any of the physical mime, just doing your facial expressions. So that would be one tweak that you could do to this. Another way, especially if you want to make it more challenging, is having the user actually like come up with a script. Essentially, like, what would I be saying if I'm like, darn, I'm so sick of using, this pencil blistering my hand or something along those lines. And the goal of this activity is you can really think about like turning up the volume. Most customers, I'd say most humans as we live our lives are in this emotional zone of like a 3 out of 10. It's fine, it's okay, my weekend was fine, dinner was fine, everything's okay. But if we really looked at like turning up the volume of like, what are the real highs, what are the real lows out of this experience? And again, it's kind of like exaggerating it. I also appreciate that you highlighted that this is hard. It's hard sometimes to like feel it, but I think one of the opportunities with games is that you can actually test this out and you can see where you feel a disconnect between you and your customer. So this is just one. Thank you all so much. Let's see, I'm gonna show a second game, and then for this one, I'll have you guys do it, or you all do this one at your seat with your table, so you guys can play along. So this activity is called Boil a Frog. So the first person, what you're gonna do, we'll pick the person at the table who has the lightest color shirt. Yeah, okay. Everyone's found the person with the lightest color shirt. So I want, first person, state your problem as if you were the user. So for example, for Indeed, I'm a job seeker and I'm trying to find a job on a website. So for person one, state the problem as if you were the user of your product. I'm using the word user. You could also use the word buyer if you want to target that as well. The other people at the table, what you're gonna do is go around and naming a way to make this problem 10% worse for the user. So for example, for my example of I'm looking for a job, perhaps I need to find one by tomorrow or I'll get evicted. That's like a way worse problem. Or perhaps it would be my internet's really slow and so it's taking me a long time to get pages to load or something along those lines. So go through thinking about different ways to make the problem worse. And then what we'll do is just go around. The person one, the person with the lightest color shirt, you can think about specific prompts to give, and I gave a couple of examples here. What I would like you to stay away from is changing the product itself. So this isn't about like, I will change this part of our website or add in this feature. This is thinking about it from the customer's perspective of how is this problem worse in their world. So we'll spend just about a minute or two on this game. Person with the lightest color shirt, raise your hand. You can think of the problem that your user has. You got that? All right, and let's go. So we'll do about 30 more seconds and then wrap up. All right, give yourselves a round of applause. Just from your seats, how was that? Thinking about how do you make this problem worse? Any feedback, any learnings or insights? Yeah, I mean, I think this is a good activity to do, especially if you have a cross-functional team, like having different people share perspectives. So this could be from like bringing in both your engineers to UX to sales, and thinking through what are some other ways, like from the lens of the customer. The reality is like some of the things that make the customer's problem worse may have nothing to do with you or your product, especially if it's like something that's time sensitive or, their boss is about to fire them or these things that are not related to your product but are real in their world. Again, you could do this activity virtually. This is also the type of activity that you could, incorporate with cards or, digital solution, have this as a Slack bot. There's other ways that you could basically put this in different mediums with the same activity. So I'm gonna go on to the last game that I have for you today. And this is called a 3-no circus. The instructions look long. Actually, for this one, I'll pull up 2 people. It's an easy game, but I'll walk you through it. 2 people, anybody? Come on up. And one more person. Come on. So we'll do this pretty quickly. So I'll have you as person 1. And what you're going to do is just describe your target user to Raphael.
You are a B2B founder who has founded 3 successful startup companies.
All right. And Raphael, you're going to pretend to be that B2B founder with 3 successful companies. So what I'd like for you to do, Kate, is to offer your product to Raphael. And Raphael, I want you to give her a reason why you would decline it.
All right. Hi, Raphael. Okay, so I can help you with your initial product market fit development so that you're not bringing on an enormous team in the very early stages, and you have that kind of nailed down before you have to kind of like really scale up.
Okay. So the reason why your service is too expensive.
All right. So now I want you to give him a second reason why he should use your product. And Raphael, you can give any reason to decline it. I don't care if it's absurd. I don't care. I mean, it doesn't have to be true. But just give a second reason to decline. Kate, take it away.
Sure. So my service at the very early stages costs about $10,000 a month, which is a fraction of the cost that you would pay for a UX and development team.
Not a big fan of your logo.
Fair enough. I also dislike our logo.
All right, so now we're going to go on to a third reason why. Why should Raphael use your product? Give her one more reason to decline. Well, let her state her third reason.
I will redesign my logo. And it will be the logo of your dreams. I could give an actual factual reason.
Yeah,
okay, so let's. Okay, so we can bring a product to market in 3 to 6 months, which is way faster than most development teams and UX teams could do it.
Okay. We need this ready to go next month. So we have to decline.
All right, last time you give him a reason, and this time you accept.
All right, so I can have a reasonable facsimile of what you need for next month so you can bring on your initial users, they can use it. It'd be like a baby MVP in under a month.
Sounds good. If you're willing to redesign your logo and meet the requirements, it's good.
Thank you. Thank you both. I think this game is helpful, particularly, I think, for product teams. I think a lot of times we take the research and we say the research is right. You know, what our UX teams told us is right. Let's design around that. But ideating more value props, ideating more objection blockers, and really practicing this, like, let's come up with the reasons that customers might say no. And acknowledging that some of them are truly absurd, and like, let's give space for some of these things that are absurd, because again, it helps us think about our customer and those things that are outside of just the direct questions we're asking them. Time check, do we have? Okay, well, let's see, we can do let's do like a quick speed round of doing this here at your table. We'll pick the same person and same problem, so you already know what it is. And person with the lightest color shirt, pitch your product of why people should use it, and people at the table, just pitch reasons why you would decline. All right, we'll do about just 15 more seconds. We'll wrap it up here. All right. Thank you all. Give yourselves a round of applause. I just wanted to give a pause. Are there any questions, Slido, or you can just shout them out about using games for customer centricity?
How often do you incorporate games into, let's say, your team or handle?
So we have like weekly check-ins. So this is where we have like a product, UX, and product marketing, and we incorporate it there. And we basically, yeah, again, these are things that we can do in under 5 minutes. So it's just having these as like warm-ups. A lot of people also would use these at things like if you're doing an offsite or a team building retreat, and you can make these games a lot longer. Again, these are examples. I wanted to have something that was like short and bite-sized for here, but you could make any of these harder. You could do with the like 3-no circus, you can put more constraints around why someone would say no. You could make the game harder. I definitely think for bringing in new people to your organization or to your teams, it's also a helpful way for them to just get up to speed on the customer experience before they've had like the, all the tenure of, more experienced people on the team. Go ahead.
So in your like weekly meetings or what have you, right?
All right. Yeah. But yeah, this is the type of thing that you can put into like a group meeting. Yep.
Yeah, sorry. So obviously somebody's coming up with the ideas, right? Like, hey, what are we going to talk about? The idea from and
Yeah.
Topics. And topics. Topics. I don't know. That was, yeah. So obviously, like somebody's creating the topics. Do you assign that to a product manager, or do you assign that to somebody? So because I could see that also getting their gears going of going, hey, these are the things that I want to kind of ideate on. But by thinking of that, you're kind of coming up with some innovative ideas of your and problems of your own. Do you do that, or are you normally just kind of, hey, we're just going after these ones?
Yeah, I'd say take 2 approaches. One approach would be the like, hey, we know we have specific needs or specific even skill sets that we want to build on our team. Let's start there. And the other approach, I think, kind of goes back to the earlier presentation on innovation. You could also use these type of activities of just starting with we don't have a specific topic in mind, but let's just use this as a way to really tap into our customers' experience, and then from there, see what ideas might come out of it. I think especially when it comes to brainstorming different pain points, new things might come up that might not be related to like your specific roadmap right now, and it's good just for as an innovation practice. Any other questions? Yep.
How do you have people be comfortable playing these games, especially over Zoom?
I think the point around celebrating failure is both cliche and true. I mean, I think there's an aspect of playing games where it's like we give a round of applause no matter what people say. And I specifically asked for absurd answers, so no one has to worry about, oh, was that too crazy? Like if you call it out that it's okay. We don't need to make people laugh. You don't need to look good. We're just doing this as a form of play. Again, that giving permission, dedicating the time to it, I think makes people a bit more comfortable with participation. Did that fully answer your question?
Yes. Sort of setting those boundaries beforehand that it's okay to be silly, act weird.
Yeah.
Over Zoom, though, what's the best approach to that? So, like the first game we played, where you had to basically mime what he was saying. So
Yeah.
how do you most effective over Zoom?
So over Zoom, what this would look like is, still have like a person 1 and person 2 and name them up front. And then it actually works really well on Zoom, especially if you're doing just the facial expressions, because you can't see the rest of their body anyway. And again, I generally tap into that, like, the person should be exaggerating, like, rather than kind of like being in this I'm fine world. Like, would someone be moderately upset about this in the real world? Let's make this extremely upset. And just, again, to play with it, to make it kind of somewhat cartoonish, but that is really where, again, a lot of the innovation can come from. if anyone wants instructions for these games, I can send them out. I had a link tree up earlier. I don't know if you could pull it up like the last slide I had. But yeah, I can send you instructions if you want more. This was really just a demo. Any other questions? Oh, let's see. I'm going to see if they can pull up my last slide. But thank you all so much. Really appreciate it. Thanks for participating.